So let's move into chart some of the markets. We'll look at that chart of the dollar, and then I'll have a few trading ideas for you, a few position trading ideas and some swing trading ideas as we close out today's call. And we'll also look at your questions. Charting the markets, let's look at some charts here. First of all, the S&P 500 booming higher this morning, currently at 45.16. Okay, this is a nice breakout. Look at that candle, just a big gap up this morning on that inflation report. There's been so much bearishness in this market. There's been so much doom and gloom. There's been so much bearish sentiment. There's been so much shorting. And I've been talking to, last time we talked about how bearish bets were backfiring, how a huge amount of money was lost by short sellers, in the last couple of weeks. And now the pain for short sellers is just intensifying. But we have mentioned we expect to get to a new high by the end of the year. And when I say high, I don't mean all-time high, because that would take us back to about 4,800. I mean a high for 2023. So which means, 4,600 or so. I see us hitting that by the end of the year, probably higher, but at least 4,600 we would say. And you can see we're well on our way to that. We expected a Q4 rally. The Q4 rally is here. You can see also the S&P 500 weekly chart. We issued a new position uptrend back in January and said, kind of gave a, not an all clear, but said, okay, well, it's looking better. And then we gave in June, we issued a long-term uptrend alert coupled with a 97,351 buy signal. Okay, well, that's all working out. So we're still doing well here. Overall, when you look at the S&P, you can see that record high was around 4,800 set back at the very end of 2021. I don't think we're going to hit that one by the end of the year. Good. But I suspect we're going to hit 46.50 or so by the end of the year. Look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq recently retaking this area here we have been talking about. Got a nice breakout there, and now it's gapping higher this morning. Good to see stocks rallying across the board this morning. The Nasdaq 100 here, you can see just powering higher for the last 3 weeks, pushing higher, getting closer now to a new all-time high. That's QQQ would be right around $400. We're at 385. We're very close now to a new all-time high in the Nasdaq 100. Can you believe it? Despite all the fear, despite all the noise, despite all the exasperation, despite all the heavy breathing, we're near a new all-time high. And the dollar is also helping us, because when you look at the dollar, you'll see that what we have seen is the second breakdown now. First, we had this first breakdown that brought us below the 50, and then it tried to climb back up right above the 50 to try to act like it was tough, and then failed again. Big time today. Big fail today. Dollar down to 104, almost 103 something this morning. It's at 104.12 as we speak. It has been as low as 104.09. That is very good. This is the lowest we've seen the dollar. So we got to go back since August, where we started rallying back in July. We rallied here, and now looks like we're turning right back around. Remember what we've said. As this dollar falls, it's going to put a tailwind on many different asset classes, like stocks and bonds and cryptos. So good news there for those following that market. We told you we did not expect to get the dollar above 107, 108. 108 was kind of the upper range. That was the major resistance zone. We never did. We never even got above 108. Didn't even get above 107. So we came up to that area, and then this was the area where we fell short, and now we're dropping like a rock this morning. 104.11 as of this moment. The dollar UUP, that was number 3 trend. We can see here it's lost its 50-day moving average after trying to bounce last week, and now it's coming down. Watch 29.12 suggested stop loss if you are long UUP or if you're long the dollar. And you may remember we just put out a new idea the other day on UDN, which we'll talk about in a minute. That's the bearish dollar ETF. That one goes up when the dollar goes down. We finally put out an idea on the bearish dollar ETF last week. And so that we're going to continue to watch. TLT also got down into our $80 to $85 support range, and we expected this is where it would likely bounce, and it's beginning to bounce. It looks good this morning. TLT rallying as yields fall. yields have fallen fairly sharply this morning. VCLT, the Vanguard Long-Term Corporate Bond Fund, also rallying this morning. Never really did quite get down to the 60 to 65 support range we were hoping to see. This would be 2015 prices. This one could certainly go back up. And these bond funds will tend to go up as rates, fall. Also, the Russell 2000, another one that's really on the move this morning, and you can see it's going back for its 200-day moving average. Big gap up this morning. Closed yesterday at around 169. This morning it's up to 177. Russell 2000 hitting $1,800 this morning on the Russell 2000. And IWM, as we speak now, trading even higher than what it shows here, about 177.63. China also on the move. This is another one I wanted to talk about just for a minute, is that China very likely now going to start seeing some inflows. Why? Because the U.S. is going to be talking about China a lot over the next week or so. And if there's good news from the Biden-Xi meeting on the sidelines of APEC, you're going to have more bullish sentiment towards China. So you could have a nice near-term rally here in China on the news that's going to be coming out from that meeting. So just be advised that China may get a little nice rally here out of all of this. And volatility remains low, still in that it's down in the 14 levels. Looking here this morning at a live shot of the VIX, it's at 1420, right? So it's way down. It's come down dramatically from where it was just say in late October, where it had gotten all the way up here to the 200 weekly moving average. That was a big, big move there, and it's come back down. So again, notice on the volatility that we continue to get the same thing, lower highs, right? Lower highs as we go, right? And lower lows, right? So that's where we are in bearish channel here on volatility.